the rest of the system, but we didn't get one. Too bad. Okay. So we talked about how we've gone from these 8,000 APIs down to these 6,000 APIs. This is sort of our first pass at what we think the Carbon API set should be. But what we understand, what we realize is that we can't just make this decision in isolation. So very recently, we just started talking with some of our biggest developers to get their thoughts on what we're doing from an overall strategy perspective and get them to start thinking about, are we picking the right APIs? So what I'd like to do now is introduce a couple of folks who are going to come up and tell us what they think about our strategy going forward. And the first person I'd like to bring up is Ben Waldman. Ben is the General Manager of the Macintosh Business Unit at Microsoft.
I guess it's pretty exciting to be from Microsoft and come to an Apple developer conference and actually get applause when you come up on stage. But I guess maybe that's what happens when you finally learn how to write good Macintosh software. I've been working at Microsoft for about 9 years now. My first job at Microsoft was as an engineer on the Excel 3 project, where my job was to write the publish and subscribe code for the edition manager, System 7. And so that was a waste of 6 months of my life. And so I've tended to be a bit skeptical of operating system strategies, which is a good thing. I think, it's PowerTalk or Copeland or things like that. But Mac OS X is different because with Mac OS X, I think, Apple is doing exactly what we and our customers have asked Apple to do for quite a while. Apple is delivering the benefits of a modern operating system with preemptive multitasking, protected memory, fast networking, while at the same time preserving the investment that we and our customers have made in the Macintosh operating system and Mac OS APIs. The beauty of Mac OS X, I think, is that by making just some small evolutionary changes in our applications, we'll be able to deliver revolutionary benefits to all of our customers. And I think that's a great thing. I think that this is really a great time to be a Macintosh developer. I'll tell you all confidentially that the last few months have been the best months for us at Microsoft in the history of our Macintosh business with Office 98 and Internet Explorer 4.0. And I think that all of us here in this room know that we're working with and dealing with a very different Apple than we have even, as was the case about even a year ago. Because today at Apple, I think all of us see strong leadership, a clear vision, great products, and I think with Macintosh, with Mac OS X, the right operating system strategy. So I'm happy to say that we at Microsoft are very, very excited to be continuing our close collaboration with Apple as we work together with Apple to bring great products to our customers. And I really hope that everybody else in this room will join us and do the same thing. And I hope that together, all of us, the family of Macintosh developers, can work together with Apple to help bring Macintosh into the 21st century. Thank you very much.
Okay, next I'd like to invite up someone who we just met with last week, who is extremely excited to be here, I know. He is like all giddy. That's Norm Meyerowitz from Macromedia. He's the president of Macromedia Products. Norm?
Thanks, Avi. Well, we're pleased to be here from Macromedia. Macromedia has been doing Macintosh products since the Mac was born, and I've actually been doing them since the Mac was born when I was back at Brown. In fact, the most exciting meeting I had with Apple was January 8th, 1983. I remember that, and that's when Steve came to Brown and showed us the original Macintosh, and we knew it was going to change the face of computing. Well, Macromedia has products like Freehand and Fontographer and Fireworks and Flash and Director 6.5, which just got released today, and we have 6-7 million lines of code. And the meetings, since that January 1983 meeting, the meetings with Apple were good, and then the quality kind of trailed off. We went down a couple of years ago and for an operating system strategy meeting, and we said, you know, we really would like a modern, safe, earthquake-proof operating system. And they said, how about if we give you a jacuzzi? We said, we really want a great foundation. We just want a foundation. And they said, would you like a wine cellar? We said, really nice, safe foundation. They said, gun turret? Would you like a gun turret? And we were confused. Well, we had a meeting this Friday at 11 o'clock down in Cupertino, and went down there, not sure what to expect. And when we got there, Apple said, would you like a foundation? And we said, you know, a foundation like the last time where we had to tear down the house and then rebuild the whole house? And they said, no, a foundation where your house stays exactly the same, and it's really quick. It'll take a couple of weeks to go and put in that new foundation. And we said, sure, we would love that. And we're really excited because this strategy gives both of us, gives Macromedia and Apple, and also our customers what they want. It gives a solid foundation on which to build on. It means that we can get stuff out quickly, and then both Macromedia and Apple can innovate to both improve the applications and improve the operating system, knowing that we're on a solid foundation. So we only found out about this on Friday, but it was exciting enough that our freehand team, which is in Texas, they flew up. There are a couple of angry wives and mothers because the folks were supposed to be home for Mother's Day, and they came up to see what they could do about getting stuff running on Mac OS X. So we're really excited about this announcement. It's really the right thing, and the major thing that I have to say is that, you know, these days in the internet space, everybody's putting out press releases about how they're a visionary. Well, Steve is one of the true visionaries of the industry. And one of the things he and Apple have learned that now at the end of the 1990s, it's really not just about being a visionary, it's about being a listenary, listening to the customers, finding out what they need, and giving them what they got. So I want to, on behalf of all the developers out here, I want to give Apple a big hand.
I really do need to apologize to Norm for giving them such short notice. Really, just the weekend isn't enough time, even with our 1 to 5 day estimate, although they certainly tried, and hopefully they'll have something to show later this week. It's really refreshing to see developers like at Macromedia just really jump on this strategy with so much enthusiasm. Now, although we kind of blew it with Macromedia and didn't give them enough time, we did give Adobe enough time. We talked to Adobe just about 2 weeks ago, and we had a great meeting with them. And at the end of that meeting, I said something that was intended to be a joke, which was, well, so how about if you guys demo Photoshop running on this at WWDC? And the next person I'd like to invite up is Greg Gilly. He took me seriously, and he actually went off and made it happen. So I'd like to invite up Greg Gilly now to show us Photoshop and tell us what he thinks.
So first off, let me say a couple things. It's been interesting working with Apple over the last several years. There's been a few changes in management, a few changes in product strategy and product philosophy, so it's been a challenge. And I have to say that over the last several months, it's gotten a whole lot easier to deal with Apple, a whole lot more rational. We're pretty excited about this strategy. I don't know, probably like most of you, when Apple came and talked to us about Rhapsody, we were kind of going, huh? So how does this make sense for the customers? How does this make sense for us? And we never could really get excited about that. But when they came back and talked to us a couple weeks ago, it was pretty clear, just 5 minutes into the meeting, that they had figured out a strategy